In a place where the light barely penetrates and the silence is more terrifying than any scream, there lies a secret that has been buried for decades. But some things refuse to stay hidden, and in the dead of night, the past comes crawling back. Mia, Ethan, Hannah and Jake were looking for a weekend escape from the chaos of their lives. They had heard about a remote cabin deep in the woods, a place to disconnect and unwind. But the moment they arrived, something felt off. The cabin was old, its wooden beams creaking with every gust of wind. Mia was the first to notice the strange symbols carved into the trees, a language she couldn't understand, but one that filled her with dread. She tried to shake it off, but the feeling lingered. As the night grew darker, the friends gathered around a campfire, sharing stories and laughter. But as the flames flickered, the shadows around them seemed to move with a life of their own. And that's when they heard it, the faint echo of a voice in the distance calling out from the darkness. That night, sleep did not come easy. The forest was alive with sounds, soft whispers that carried on the wind, leaves rustling as if something unseen was moving through them, and footsteps that seemed to circle the cabin, growing closer with each passing hour. Mia woke in the dead of night, her heart pounding. The door to the cabin was ajar, swaying gently in the breeze. She stepped outside, drawn by an inexplicable force, and that's when she saw it, a figure standing at the edge of the forest, watching her with eyes that seemed to glow in the dark. Before she could scream, the figure vanished, swallowed by the darkness. Trembling, Mia rushed back inside, locking the door behind her. But the feeling of being watched didn't go away. It only grew stronger, as if the forest itself was closing in around them. The next morning, the group decided to explore the area, hoping to shake off the eerie events of the night. That's when they found it, an old, abandoned well, hidden deep in the forest. The same strange symbols from the trees were carved into the stones around the well, marking it as something ancient, something dangerous. Ethan leaned over the edge of the well, peering into the darkness below. It seemed endless, swallowing the light that tried to penetrate it. As he turned to leave, a voice echoed up from the depths, soft and haunting, whispering his name. He froze, his heart racing, but when he looked again, there was nothing, just the oppressive silence of the forest. Shaken, the group returned to the cabin, trying to laugh off their fears, but the unease was palpable. As night fell once more, the air grew thick with tension, and the forest around them seemed to hold its breath, waiting. That night, the whispers returned, louder and more insistent, filling the cabin with their eerie chorus. Shadows danced across the walls, and the temperature plummeted. Then, as if drawn by some unseen force, the figure from the forest reappeared, this time inside the cabin. Hannah woke with a start, feeling a cold presence in the room. She looked up, and there it was, the figure, standing over her, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. She tried to scream, but her voice was lost in the terror that gripped her. As the figure reached out, its touch sent a shockwave through her body. A flood of memories not her own crashed into her mind. Images of the cabin's dark past, of the unspeakable horrors that had been committed there, of the souls trapped in an endless nightmare. Hannah collapsed, her body shaking with terror. The others rushed to her side, but the figure had vanished, leaving only the oppressive weight of its presence behind. They knew then that they were not alone, that something ancient and evil was watching them, waiting for its moment to strike. In a panic, the group decided to leave the cabin, but the forest had other plans. As they ran, the trees seemed to close in around them, branches blocking their path, the whispers growing deafening. The forest was alive, and it was not about to let them go. Mia stumbled, falling near the well. As the others reached out to help her, the ground began to tremble. The well, once dark and silent, now glowed with an eerie light, as if something deep within was awakening. The figure rose from the well, its form twisted and unnatural, a grotesque mockery of what it once was. Its voice, a chorus of pain and anger, filled the air, revealing the truth. The cabin, the forest, the well, all were cursed, a prison for the damned. And now, the friends were part of it. With no other choice, the friends knew they had to confront the figure to break the curse that had trapped so many before them. They gathered their courage, standing together as they faced the horror that had haunted them. The well closed, the whispers silenced, and the night returned to its natural state. But as the cabin stood empty, its door slightly ajar, it was clear that the horror was far from over. The forest waited, as it always had, for the next souls to wander into its grasp. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the darkness. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, some places are meant to stay hidden, and some secrets should never be uncovered.